Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Finn loses patient after tragic mistake, Sheila's chance to comfort son. The bold and the beautiful B&B. Spoilers reveal that John Finn Finnegan, Tanner Nublin, will continue to put in long hours at the hospital and put his medical expertise to good use. The show practically treats Finn like Superman, since he's always saving the day. Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McKinswood, definitely views Finn as a hero since he's come to her rescue so many times. Most recently when she was locked in deranged Luna Nozowa's Lisa Yamada cage. However, Finn has also proven he's a hero to his patients, including Steffi, Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, and especially Eric Forrester, John McCook, since he came up with his life-saving treatment. Since B&B has really played up this heroic angle with Finn, we can think of the perfect gripping story that should come next. Finn needs to get knocked off his pedestal just a bit and prove he's human just like everyone else. Although Finn is normally the one coming up with solutions on the job and stepping up when it counts, what if he drops the ball on a particular case? Finn might misdiagnose someone with tragic results, or perhaps he could make a big mistake, like giving a patient the wrong medication or dosage. The show has highlighted the fact that there were two Dr. Finnegans at the hospital where Finn works with his mother, Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda. Maybe that could come into play somehow if Finn accidentally gets some test results meant for Lie and thinks he can help. There might be a situation where Lie gets blamed for Finn's mistake, just to add the drama of it all. Regardless, it'd be interesting to watch Finn cope with losing a patient and it being his fault. Finn might be torn up enough to lean on Sheila for comfort and set the stage for more drama in his marriage. This certainly seems like something Sheila would exploit in her efforts to form a real bond with Finn. Whatever the case, Finn and Steffi could use a new storyline, so we'll bring you more predictions on what their next one might look like. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say bad news is always just around the corner, so stick with us for updates on what might be in store for Steffi and Finn. In the bustling world of Los Angeles, where drama and passion run high, another storm was brewing in the halls of Forrester Creations. However, this time, the center of the turmoil wasn't the glamorous office or fashion house, but the sterile, pristine walls of the hospital where Dr. John Finn Finnegan had built his career and reputation. He was known for being calm under pressure, the embodiment of cool professionalism and empathy, a trait that had endeared him to his colleagues and patients alike. But even the most steadfast among us have moments of faltering, and Finn was about to face a situation that would shake him to his core. The day had started like any other for Finn. He had kissed Steffi goodbye, left their children with the nanny, and headed to work. But as he walked the familiar corridors, he felt a strange sense of foreboding. The hospital was busy, buzzing with the usual flurry of activity, but there was something different in the air. A sense of urgency seemed to hang over the staff, and Finn couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. His first patient was a woman named Emily Hartman, a 34-year-old mother of two who had been admitted with what seemed to be a routine condition. Finn had seen countless cases like hers. Her symptoms were clear, and her treatment plan was straightforward. He had run the tests, ordered the medications, and assured her and her family that she would be fine. But something went wrong, terribly wrong. Within hours, Emily's condition deteriorated. The heart monitor's rhythmic beeping turned into a frantic alarm. Doctors and nurses rushed to her bedside, but despite their best efforts, they couldn't save her. Finn stood frozen as the team called the time of death. His heart sank into his stomach as the reality of the situation hit him. He had lost a patient. For a moment, the world around Finn seemed to stop. He had lost patients before, But this felt different. There had been no warning, no signs that Emily's condition would take such a drastic turn. Finn's mind raced with questions. Had he missed something? Had he made a mistake? Was there something more he could have done? As Finn stood over Emily's lifeless body, the weight of his responsibility pressed down on him like never before. He couldn't shake the feeling that this tragedy was somehow his fault. Emily's husband was inconsolable, her children sobbing in the waiting room, and all Finn could think about was the look in their eyes when they realized she wasn't coming home. The hospital's chief medical officer approached Finn later that day, his tone serious but sympathetic. "Dr. Finnegan, I need you to step back from Emily Hartman's case," he said quietly. "There will be an investigation. It's standard procedure when we lose a patient under these circumstances." Finn nodded numbly. He knew the drill, but it didn't make it any easier. His mind swirled with guilt, and doubt crept in. Had he failed her? News of Finn's tragic loss spread quickly through the hospital, and as it reached the wider world of Forrester Creations, the impact was immediate. Steffi, already juggling her own stresses at the company, could sense that something was deeply wrong with Finn. She tried to comfort him, but he pulled away, retreating into his own world of self-blame. However, there was someone else who had been waiting for a moment like this. Someone who thrived on chaos, especially if it involved her son. Sheila Carter, Finn's biological mother, had been lurking in the shadows ever since she'd been released from prison. Though Finn had kept his distance from her, refusing to let her back into his life, Sheila was always watching. She knew every detail of her son's life, waiting for the opportunity to strike, to find a crack in his armor where she could wedge herself back in. When Sheila heard about the patient Finn had lost, she saw her chance. It was late at night when Sheila made her move. Finn was in the hospital's on-call room, his head in his hands, staring blankly at the floor. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, and the weight of Emily's death was crushing him. That's when Sheila appeared, slipping into the room like a shadow. "John," she said softly, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Finn looked up, startled. His initial reaction was to tell her to leave, to get out and stay far away from him and his family. But Sheila didn't budge. She stepped closer, her eyes wide with concern, trying to project an image of maternal care. "I heard about what happened," Sheila continued, her tone gentle and soothing. "I can't imagine how hard this must be for you, losing a patient like that. But it's not your fault, John. You did everything you could." Finn clenched his jaw, his body tense with anger and grief. "You don't know what you're talking about, Sheila," he muttered, trying to keep his emotions in check. "I should have done more. I could have saved her." Sheila shook her head, her gaze never leaving his. "No, John. You're a brilliant doctor. Sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. It's not fair, but that's the truth." Finn's mind was clouded with guilt and exhaustion, and for a brief moment, Sheila's words seemed to reach him. He wanted so desperately to believe that it wasn't his fault, that this wasn't the devastating mistake it felt like. Seeing his vulnerability, Sheila pressed further. "You don't have to go through this alone, John. I know you're angry with me, but I'm still your mother. I love you, and I want to help you through this." Finn's eyes flickered with uncertainty. He had spent so much time pushing Sheila away, convinced that she was toxic, that she was dangerous. But in this moment of weakness, when he felt like the world was crumbling around him, her words hit differently. Could he really trust her? Could she be sincere in wanting to comfort him? Or was this just another manipulation, another one of Sheila's sick games? As Finn wrestled with his thoughts, Sheila stepped closer, placing a hand on his arm. "You don't have to answer me now," she whispered. "But I'm here for you. Always." With that, Sheila left the room, leaving Finn alone with his thoughts, more conflicted than ever. As he watched her leave, Finn knew that the tragedy of losing his patient had opened a door he wasn't sure he could close again, one that might lead him straight into Sheila's dangerous embrace.